Most people will never build real wealth from investing. Not because the market is unfair, not because they started too late, not because they did not have enough capital, because they never had a framework. Welcome to the ProfitByFriday.com podcast, where we replace guessing with process, emotion with discipline, and noise with one clear idea every single week. Now, let us get into it. In today's episode, quantum computing will not kill the data center boom. It will start a second one. Marcus is a software engineer in Chicago, smart guy, 6 years investing, reads the financial news every morning before his first coffee. One morning in early 2026, he saw a headline that stopped him cold. Quantum computing set to disrupt AI data center boom. He read it twice. He pulled up his portfolio. He started running the math on whether to reduce his data center positions. He did not. But not because he ignored the headline, because he understood something most investors get wrong about new technology. Every time a new computing paradigm arrives, someone declares the last one dead. When the personal computer arrived, mainframes were supposedly finished. When smartphones arrived, personal computers were supposedly finished. When GPUs arrived, the CPU was supposedly finished. None of it happened. Every single time, the new technology added a new layer of demand on top of the old one. It did not replace it, it built on top of it. Quantum computing is no different. Except this time, the investor who understands the pattern does not just survive the narrative, they see the second boom coming before anyone else does. There are two parts to this episode. Part 1 kills the fear. Part 2 shows you what is actually coming. Let us start with why quantum will not replace AI data centers. Quantum and AI are solving completely different problems. AI data centers do one thing at enormous scale: matrix mathematics. When you prompt any large language model, a cluster of GPU chips multiplies billions of numbers together to predict the next word. This happens thousands of times per second across millions of users simultaneously. It is pattern recognition applied to vast data sets. Quantum computers are bad at exactly this kind of work. Neural networks and large language models are built to recognize patterns in data. Quantum does not do that better. What quantum is genuinely good at is a completely different set of problems: molecular simulation for drug discovery, portfolio optimization at extreme scale, cryptography, certain logistics problems that classical computers handle poorly. Think about a hospital. The operating theater has a scalpel for precision surgery. The loading bay has a forklift for moving supplies. Both are essential. Neither threatens the other. The forklift does not make the scalpel obsolete. The scalpel cannot do the forklift's job. Remove one and the hospital gets worse. That is the relationship between AI data centers and quantum computing. Here is the detail that ends the replacement argument entirely. Quantum computers cannot even run without classical infrastructure sitting next to them. Microsoft's own quantum engineering team confirmed it publicly. A quantum machine is not a standalone entity. It is a hybrid tool. It needs a high-performance classical computer physically close to it to manage workloads, handle pre-processing, and interpret outputs. You cannot unplug the data center. The quantum processor depends on it to function. And then there is the scale problem. The 4 largest hyperscalers are spending $725 billion on AI infrastructure in 2026 alone. Goldman Sachs projects $5.3 trillion from 2025 to 2030. There are approximately 24 quantum systems deployed in commercial data centers worldwide as of mid-2026. The scale difference between AI infrastructure demand and quantum's current commercial reality is not a gap, it is a canyon. The fear is wrong. Now here is what is actually coming. Part 2 is the part nobody is writing about. Quantum computing does not threaten the data center boom. It triggers a second one. Digital Realty's CEO described data center demand over time as a layer cake. Each new technology wave adds a new layer of occupancy on top of the previous one, without removing what came before. Corporations hardening IT systems were the first layer. Cloud computing was the second. Artificial intelligence is the third. Quantum computing is the fourth layer being built right now. While most investors are still arguing about whether the third one is justified, here is why the fourth layer requires brand new construction and cannot simply move into existing buildings. Quantum computers need cryogenic cooling to -460 degrees Fahrenheit. That is near absolute zero, 100 times colder than interstellar space. Standard data center cooling keeps temperatures between 64 and 81 degrees. These are not compatible systems. Quantum needs dedicated industrial-scale cryogenic plants, new buildings, new power pathways, new cooling infrastructure built from the ground up. Quantum systems also require require vibration isolation, because even minor mechanical vibrations collapse quantum states. They require magnetic shielding to protect sensitive components from electromagnetic interference. They require ultra-low latency fiber links that go beyond what standard data center interconnects deliver. None of this can be retrofitted. None of it can be repurposed from existing server halls. Quantum needs new land, new facilities, new construction categories that have never existed in commercial data centers before. The smart money already knows this. Global investment in quantum technologies surpassed $55 billion in 2025, according to S&P Global. JLL, the global real estate firm, projects quantum computing solutions will generate $100 billion in revenue by 2035, up from under $750 million in 2024. That is a 133-fold increase in 11 years. Venture capital and private equity investment in quantum is projected to reach $20 billion annually by 2030, roughly a 10-fold increase over 2024. The leading data center operators are not waiting for the technology to be fully proven. Digital Realty already launched a dedicated quantum data center at its JFK-10 property in New York City. Oxford Quantum is already deployed inside Equinix's Tokyo facility. The two largest data center real estate investment trusts in the world are building for the next layer now, because they have seen this pattern before, and they know. The landlord who owns the building collects rent from every tenant, regardless of which computing paradigm is running inside. JLL estimates quantum could represent up to 10% of total data center demand over the next 10 years, on top of an AI build-out already backed by $5.3 trillion in projected hyperscaler spending. The layer cake keeps rising. The landlords who already won the first boom are positioned to win the second one too. The same land, the same power connections, the same relationships with enterprise tenants who will be the first to deploy quantum at scale. Marcus did not sell his data center positions that morning. He added to them, not because he ignored the quantum narrative, because he understood it. The businesses that own the physical layer of computing do not pick the winning technology. They own the building every technology runs inside. Amateurs see a new technology and ask which one wins. Investors see a new technology and ask who owns the infrastructure it runs on. Visit ProfitByFriday.com today. Subscribe free to the Friday Flash, where you will receive one stock fully evaluated through the Clear framework every Friday, so that you know everything about the company before you decide to invest. No noise, no hype, just the analysis that matters. We trade for cash flow. We invest boring to build legacy. See you in the next episode. Bye for now.